it's a website that promotes European cinema throughout the world to foreign markets, and we basically communicate on industry news. So most of our readers are professionals, and with time we understood that those professionals were having problems in selling, in reaching audience. Those were for example, the distributors, even international sellers. They were asking a lot of questions about, cross media. Everybody was talking about cross media. It was the new big thing, but not everybody knew what it was. And since I was also working in a marketing agency and I was specialized in online marketing, I evolved quite naturally to cross-media scripting. And I started writing stories that are cross-media and transmedia, meaning that the story starts, for example, on the internet, then the next episode is in a movie theater, and then after that you have to go to see a play, to see the story, and then so on. So all those media were working together to create a bigger story that is more of a universe, and in that universe you have different stories that are connected and that you can access in a non-linear way. So this is, basically what I do. What we will talk about today is about this main problem that I was talking a little bit earlier about that. It means that if you do something, if you create a movie, if you have a movie to sell, or you actually want people to see it. And the problem is that, how do you bring those people in the places that you want them to be? If you do communication, if you print posters, if you do a TV commercial or whatever, it's okay. You access big medias, and eventually you get your product to be seen. The problem is that those are really expensive ways, and also you cannot really be sure that you will target the right people. Even if you print your ads in a magazine, even if it's a movie magazine, you cannot really be really precise on the target that you want to target. So the thing is that when you create anything, you want to go viral. You want to use social medias to have your project traveling, the buzz around your project traveling. Even if your project is not ready yet, even if it didn't start or it's at a really early stage, even financing, you can start communicating about it and create some buzz around it. So it's okay to go viral, but if you use, there are some really expensive tools to actually create this viral effect. But most of the time, if you create a project and you don't have a lot of money, all your money goes into the project itself. So you barely have extra money to promote it, because it's hard to promote it when nobody has seen it yet. It's not popular yet. So the first thing is to learn. And to learn what? But really learn. It's really important, this word, because a lot of people want to go viral, and then all they know about the internet is Facebook and websites. There are a lot of more ways to reach people. And you have to learn about the social habits of your target. You have to identify your target. It could be really general or really specific, but you have to bear in mind the people that you want to touch with your communication. And you have to stay up to date with social habits. It means that if you take the example of MySpace, it was super big at the time, but if now you have a project and you say, okay, I want to create a MySpace, it's dead. Nobody goes on MySpace anymore. So it's no use doing that. So you have to identify the tools, know what tools are. Those are most of the time free tools. It means Facebook is free. For a normal use of Facebook, it's free, or Twitter is free as well. And also know all those tools are working, because you can have a basic use of Facebook or a basic use of Twitter, and then you have you can masterize the tool and know the little differences that will prevail in your communications. So it's all about going viral, and you have to be everywhere. I mean, when we talk about internet, we are talking about search engines, and people are typing those words on those search engines all the time, and by chance they could find your project there. But if you buy Google Ads, of course you will be there in search engines. But if you want your project to be there like naturally, you have to be everywhere, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Basically, you identify all the social tools you need, or those that are popular, and you create an account. You go, if your movie is a horror story, for example, you have to go on those websites that talk about, that are specialized in horror movies, and create an account there, post comments. Those are also social tools. It's not only Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and those kind of tools. So Facebook, of course, it's important, and it's a starting point, because a great thing about Facebook is that it's a good way to start a community. The first thing you have to do is create, of course, a personal account. And the word personal is super important, and I put plural between brackets because there are strategies that can be used to create more than one account. And I will talk about that later, but this actually works. When you start from scratch and you don't have anything, if you only have your personal account and you create a page for your label could be your company, then you will be the only one, and your friends and your parents liking it. So this is a little bit poor. And also there will be small interaction. You will post a picture, and then you will have your mother saying, "I like it," and then your father say, "Oh, you look stupid," and then that's it. And then you can reply and say, "No, I don't." That's not really interaction, and you're still not touching your target. So what a lot of people do is create, and also what I did for a long time now, we have other ways now because and I will talk about that later. We already have a base community that we can use in different projects. But at first, we create fake debates with fake accounts, but thousands of them. I mean, every day we would create a new account and go on the website and post a stupid comment and react and be a little bit, schizophrenic about it and create debates. And then after a while, you notice that actually new people are entering the debate, and the thing is starting to grow. Because, and you experience this yourself, I'm sure, if you go to a website where there are no comments, there are no likes, there are no people interacting, you won't be the first one to do it. Because it's like going into some nightclub, and there's only 3 people there, you don't want to dance. But if the club is packed, you will stay and you say, okay, this is a popular place. And it's all about popularity. So create a Facebook page for your label, and then you create a Facebook page for your project, your movie in that case. So, meaning that if it's your first movie, you will have a Facebook account, more than one probably, a Facebook page for your company, and then a Facebook page for your movie. And now Facebook allows to actually behave as you were the page itself. So it means that interaction is still possible. If your movie is The Hunt, then you can act and talk as The Hunt. Then I will talk as Domenico La Porta, which is my name, and then also talk as The Hunt. So interaction is still possible. If you have a little bit more money or skills, it is really interesting to create applications. Facebook applications are really popular. And also Facebook right now is investing a lot of money in them. This means that those applications could actually touch a lot of people, but with a complete different angle than the project itself. For example, if you have a movie, the application could be a game. a social game or even an arcade game, whatever, and then you will touch the gamers, and then you could have bloggers that create articles about the game itself, and then when you go to the game is connected to the movie, and then you're attracted to the movie. So the route is a little bit transversal. Second tool is Twitter. Twitter is, for me, the most important tool right now when it comes to business, but also when it comes to quick communication. It is really boring to read those long articles on the internet, and if the content is too important on a page, you cannot really understand it because you don't want to. The web surfer is quite lazy and is not patient at all. It means it gets bored really quick, and with only a click, he can escape the page. So Twitter is a way to touch people in really small sentences. It was inspired by texting. So we have our account Cineuropa. When I started the Twitter account on Cineuropa quite late, because I realized that Cineuropa at a stage where the website was trying to reinvent itself and also put a step into social medias. We had like 300 followers, and then by implementing a strategy, a Twitter strategy, quite complex, in a few months we are now like 10,000 followers. But those are really specific followers because, as I said before, we only address market professionals and cinephiles as well. So a lot, not really the basic moviegoer. So we cannot have the same amount of followers as I don't know, IMDb or whatever, because it's not the same kind of information we provide. But those 10,000 people are asking questions all the time. If I show you our Twitter feed, you will see that those people are asking questions, and if you don't have time to answer those questions, so you see all this is people addressing us, and we have to reply to those people. We post something, and then they say, okay, what do you mean, or this makes me think of that, or what do you think of, and you have to answer them. If you don't do it, after a while, those people, you notice, they don't follow you anymore. They leave. Because it feels like you're more of a robot, posting information, but not really care about the one reading them. And this is a problem because it takes a lot of time, and after a while you kind of notice that this is another job. You cannot, as an editor-in-chief, I cannot do that because it will take the whole day. So my job is to write articles, to manage my crew. I cannot do this. So I can do it a little bit, but after a while someone specialized has to do it because it's a communication thing. So those are other systems, like YouTube is now very social. You can use it to post videos and create also communities there. Another important thing is Tumblr. I don't know if you know about Tumblr, but when you start a project, really at the early stage of the project, you want a website. But the problem is that the website can be really heavy to implement. And now you have microblogging available real fast. I mean, you can create a Tumblr, which is basically a blog, a website, really quick. In 10 minutes, you create it, you skin it with your own graphic identity, and then you start posting information. And Tumblr is also a social network. It means that other people with Tumblr will follow you and then follow your information and reblog your information. It can be viral pretty quick. And with the Tumblr, waiting for your future website or project, if it's internet-based, you have a way to post pictures, to post videos, to actually behave like you would have a real website without posting this information on Facebook. Because if you post it on Facebook, it's cool. You have to do it as well. But on Facebook, the information disappears really, really fast. Here you will have permalinks and also all the structure of the website. So it will be easier for the people to go in a place that is more easy looking as well, because Facebook is kind of ugly. They did a little bit of work on that with the new Facebook, the journal, but it's still ugly. So the person I was talking earlier, the person that has to manage all that is called a community manager. It's a really, really important task, because a community manager does not only create Facebook accounts and Twitter accounts, it does a lot of things. It publishes information. It's in charge of spreading your label or your project. By spreading, I mean putting the words outside of your Facebook page or your website, or it means posting comments on the website, attracting people. It also monitors what happens. For example, if you tweet something and then you notice suddenly that your tweet is retweeted 1,000 times in a small amount of time, then you have to notice that. And then after that, you have to build on this. It means that you know that this information was more popular than the one you have posted before. It means something. It means that it was more interesting. You have to analyze that. And also, you have to get in touch with those people. So contact them, engage conversations with them, and attract them where you want them to be. So attraction is also something that the community manager does. Dialogue, of course, is super important. It's what I was showing you before, is answering questions. And also behave socially. I mean, on Twitter you have a lot of rules. For example, Follow Friday, it's a stupid thing. It means that every Friday you recommend some of your followers to, you recommend people to your followers. And it's a thing that a lot of people do, but it works. I mean, if you recommend 10 people every Friday, those 10 people will get some percentage of your followers. With Cineuropa, we have a huge power with that, because every time we recommend someone, the person gets 3,000 followers in one day. So for the people that are beginning on Twitter, it's really important. And they do that as well, because if you do a Follow Friday, they will do the Follow Friday for you as well. It's really a social behaviors, and there are manners on social medias, and a lot of people don't behave. If you play the part correctly, you will benefit from that. Moderation is also, of course, super important. For example, I did this small mission. We created a game for L'Oreal, the cosmetics, and we created this game. It was really popular, and then because they were not paying me after a while, because the mission was finished, but they left it out there, the Facebook page, and they didn't care about it anymore. And after 1 year, I wanted to use this page as an example in a presentation like that, and I went on the Facebook page, and it was all porn, publicity, ads from people selling whatever they were selling, and the page was completely spammed. And so, but the L'Oreal brand was still there, so it was not a good thing to do at all. So you still have to moderate. Once you put something on the internet, you have to be responsible and you have to take care of it. So for me, the most important thing is dialogue, because you have to create this feeling that this is a living thing. This is something that is dynamic, and also you have to create the personal contact. If you send a tweet to Steven Spielberg and he answers you, and this happens, you feel super good, because you said, okay, this is Steven Spielberg, and asking him a question, and he answers me personally. You will never unfollow him, never, because this is kind of your pal now, and you have this special attention at what point. It works for Steven Spielberg, but it also works for Cineuropa. Every time we answer someone and we create a there could be fights as well on Twitter and arguments. But every time we create this personal contact, those people not only will continue dialoguing with us on Twitter, but they will go on the website as well. So without us telling them, go to our website. It's just the way to behave on social medias. And this is also important, that we are not every day telling them, this is the article we posted, go there, read this, read that, only our content. We also recommend content of other people. Because this is a community, it's sharing, it's not only promoting what I have. I'm not selling anything. I'm just creating this community that will recommend me some stuff as well, but I will recommend them too. So it has to be, and I don't know if you say, enlightening for them and for us as well. So when do we start? The thing is that you have to start now. If you have a company, start by putting your company on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on those social medias out there. If you have a project, even if you don't even have the script, you can start actually communicating about it, and you can start creating your community, because this community will be there, and when the project will evolve and when it will be eventually released, those people could be reached afterwards with the communication that is now complete. Also, community building is something that you can put in the bank and use on different projects. As I was telling you before, I have a professional account on Facebook, and my friends there, they know me, and also they trust me. It means that every time I recommend something on that Facebook page, they go and they check, even if it's something that has nothing to do with the previous project, because they are part of my entourage, and they are curious about what I do. And this is also the case for me. I follow a lot of people that are always recommending nice things, so I trust them. It's the same thing that a newspaper that you buy, because you like the content of that newspaper, even though every day the news are different. So yeah, this was about personal, I talked about it, and I was to explain here about the different accounts and the strategy of creating different accounts. It's kind of a fake thing, of course, and everybody does it. And it takes a lot of time, but in the end it's still funny to do, because it's like already creating a story with reaction. You can also anticipate some stuff. For example, I worked for a film that was screened here in Cannes. It's called The Suicide Shop. It's an animation film by Patrice Lecomte. And this is about suicide, but it's a cartoon. It's an animation film for kids. So this is, you know, a tricky thing. And what we did is that we created the Facebook page, and we anticipate all the different problems that we could have. We created a fake account about a guy that was always bitching about this thing, saying, okay, this is suicide, this is for kids, what is the image that you are providing to those kids? And we created also the answers. And we created profiles that were really identified with really personalities, and those were responding to themselves. And in the end, we calmed the game with that. It means that when the movie was released, people were coming to the page with the same kind of problematics, but they were already addressed. So they integrated the debate, but without getting too excited. And this is also important, because if someone is going into that debate in the middle of the night and start spamming or start insulting, and your community manager is sleeping, when he gets up in the morning at 9 and he's not like super connected all the time, so this could be already out of control. And the problem is, once it's there, of course you can cancel, delete messages, but this is always something that is seen as censorship. And every time you will delete a message, the person that will be censored, he will be pissed and will come back, and then you have to ban it. And if you ban it, if you ban him, he will create another account and come back. People can be really, really mean and really aggressive on Facebook. So you have to take care of that, and those are the things you can take care of that in advance, creating those fake accounts. I know it's not really ethical, but this is, but everybody does it. I mean, it's, you know, not everybody knows that it can be done, but this is one of the first things I do, usually because it suppresses a lot of problems afterwards. So, again, when I was talking about this community manager that is sleeping at night, but if this community manager is actually at a party at 3 a.m. and he has an idea, he can tweet. And there's really no time to be on social medias. You can use that 24 hours a day, 24/7, 7 days a week. The thing is that I receive those Twitter questions because with Cineuropa, of course, we touch a lot of different time-based countries. So when I wake up in the morning, I have like 5 or 6 questions. And after a while, you have to regulate that and organize yourself. And you cannot stay really 3 days without tweeting. It's a suicide to do that, because people will unfollow you. They will think you're dead or you're sick or you're not up to date anymore. So they won't trust you with information anymore. So try to be there as much as possible. Try to find someone that maybe is a no-life. Those are the people, the geeks, they're out there. There are some of them, and they are really motivated, and they don't really count their hours. It's not, again, it's not ethical, but this is really the only way to go. You have to be there as much as possible. Of course, to be there permanently, the important thing is to be mobile. So there are a lot of applications for smartphones, and you have to be connected, have permanent access to the internet. This means that everywhere you go, you can take a picture, tweet it, you can answer those questions. You're in the bus, you're lining up for some movie here à la quinzaine, and then you can tweet, you can answer questions, and of course read your emails, because those are also piling up. But mobility is really, really important, and not only to communicate, but you have also to bear in mind that those are the tools that can be used in your strategy. If you use geolocalization in your strategy, it could be helpful as well. For example, we created an application here, not for Cannes, but for something else, but all the people were geolocalized, and the application was warning me when someone was nearby. And this is an application that was created in Belgium and for a Belgian public. And I was here in Cannes, and suddenly my phone beeped, and there was one person playing at that game that was here in 200 meters square around me, and I tried to find him, so I sent him a message, and then we met and we had a drink. So this is really social media becoming social, but still, this is also a matter of you know, fidelity. Those are returning people, and it's important to put them in a bank and to have them part of your community. So, at the stage when you are financing your project, you barely have something to show. You don't have nothing produced yet, but still your idea is there. If you are finding money, you have to convince people, so you have something to tell. And this is already a time when you can actually tweet about your project, but not only tweet. If you have a Tumblr, if you have whatever other system online, you can start putting information there, because this information will be crawled by the search engines. And the more aged is your project, the more it will be well ranked. And when your project will go out, maybe in 2 years, Google will know that your project was already there 2 years ago. So you will have more popularity and you will have a better ranking. And also it can create also a little buzz. People can already have information about what you are doing. They can follow your project, maybe share ideas. Those are things that can be done. Another form of social media that can be helpful for your project as well is crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is, well, I'm sure everybody knows about that because it's a super popular word these days. But it's having people invest in your project, small amounts. And you don't have to do that yourself. You have platforms on the internet, websites that are doing that for you. You just create your project there. It stays there, then a community builds around it, and then they get rewards if your project is financed in the end. Those rewards can be a visit to the set, maybe a signed picture, whatever, but the rewards, the concept of gifts is an important concept not only on the internet but in life in general. So crowdfunding, there are many examples of successful strategies. But for example, you have this website called Eventful. It's eventful.com, and you know the movie Paranormal Activity. While they were financing it, they were not sure that they were already thinking about where the movie would be screened, because they didn't have any distributors, they didn't have anything. So they thought about putting this project out on Eventful and having people that were already following them on social medias, this community they were having already, having them request screenings. So if you were living maybe in Cannes, you would go and say, I want a screening in Cannes, and then someone else would come and say, me too, and me too. And then they were not only promoting their project on social medias, but they were promoting this Eventful thing, meaning that people would request screenings, and then in the end, when they went to distributors, and they went to agents, sales agents, etc., they had those statistics, those analytics, sorry. So they said, okay, you know, if you have a strategy of diffusion, maybe you don't plan to release this film in Maryland, but you have to be aware that in Maryland we have a community there interested. And those are not only moviegoers, those are ambassadors. Those are the people that were following you since the beginning. And those will be the people also that will, the word to mouth will be really effective with those people. Because most of the time they are geeks, they are integrated in other communities as well. So they will convince their friend, and in the end something will happen. So this is the power of social medias in terms of crowdfunding. And this is something that can be done super early, at a stage where you actually have the time to do it. Because when your project will be released and you have a lot of other things to do, you don't have time anymore to request a screening or do things like that. You're overwhelmed by a lot of different things and other things, and you don't have time to do that. So there's a time for everything. And of course, if you have 10 people working for you, just doing that, it's no problem. But most of the time, you're alone. So during the shooting phase, there's also a lot of things to do in terms of social medias, and the effects are also enormous. If you tweet on a set a picture of the director filming, then the picture can be also accessed by people, retweeted, etc. And people begin to be aware of the projects taking place. This is something a lot of directors and film crews don't know, and they don't really grasp the power of that, but this is really interesting. If you take Michel Gondry, the French director, he was shooting a movie in Brussels last month, and I was working for that film. And my role on set, what I did is that every person that was nearby, what's happening here? You know, those people were seeing those, because it's the adaptation of the Boris Vian movie L'écume des jours, and they were having really tuned, strange cars, and those cars were there. And so what I did, people were looking at the cars, and I was telling them, it's the new Michel Gondry movie, take a picture of the car, post it on Twitter, you have a smartphone, do it. And they were doing it. And this information was really basic. I was just wandering around, and it was not pushing the people out of the set. Of course, they were not on the set itself. They were on, in the surroundings. But it was simple information telling them something is happening there, and they were tweeting the information. Then other people were coming and taking pictures. And people said, oh, there's a new Michel Gondry movie shooting in Brussels. And then what happened is that the next day, all the press, the dailies, they took the information on Twitter. And those pictures people were shooting, you could find them on the newspaper the next day. So it was good publicity for the films, and also the publicity that came from the people, the viewers themselves, not from professionals. So people are more trusty when it comes to communication when there are peers doing the communication. If I took a picture myself of the picture saying, oh, look at those awesome cars, they were saying, okay, you work for the movie. So, no, they are not awesome. I won't even click. I don't care. And if you post the picture with your account, your Michel Gondry account, it won't work as well, because this is marketing. But if it's a friend that posts a picture, you will go, because he doesn't have any interest in the film. The thing is that he has an interest, because on Twitter, everybody has an interest, because those followers are like gold coins. The more followers you have, the more you can show off, the more you can say you're influent, and this is something people are really aware, and they want to have a lot of followers, so they want to be interesting and to be considered as interesting people. So during the shooting phase, you have a lot of things to do as well. Post-production, same thing. Sound mixing, you can tweet information. You have someone recording a song, you tweet the information, and it will travel around there. And you will have people taking the information. And if you follow people, you are engaged in conversation with people interested, you can even address them and say, okay, you know, oh, you like jazz music? Did you know we have a jazz singer recording information, a song for Suicide Shop? And the guy is not interested in movies, but he said, okay, but I love jazz, and Suicide Shop soundtrack is jazzy, so maybe I will be interested in that film. And then this is how it works, and the movie is not there yet. You don't even have a teaser, you don't even have a trailer, you don't even have a website, but you still have elements, fragments, bits of communication, and things that are traveling out there. It could be also a picture of a script, you know, like first page of the script with I don't know, a coffee stain on it, and you take the picture. It's still interesting because it will help the title of the film travel. And of course, most important time is when the film is released. When people have actually the chance to see it, they have to see it because the window is really short. And this is a moment where your communication has to be really, really effective and powerful. So you have to clear your agenda for that moment. And if you have a community manager, you must absolutely have the amount of time necessary to communicate at that time. Of course, there's a methodology to do all that, because if you do that randomly, you will lose track, and you don't know who has done what, especially if you are more than one person working on the same account. On Cineuropa now we have 2 people tweeting. And you don't want them to tweet the same thing twice, so you have to find a methodology. I will give you some hints about the methodology. Planification is super important. You have a project that you want to release in 1 year. This year has to be, there has to be an agenda for the whole year. Like in the beginning it will be small things, then it will gradually be increased communication, and then in the end it will burst. And in this planification, when you do it in advance, it's more easy to spot also related events. For example, the Cannes Festival. If you have a film and you know that it's Cannes at that time and you will be in Cannes, you have already to think about, yes, during the Cannes Festival, okay, I will be in Cannes. Probably I won't have roaming internet access, so how do I do this? How do I tweet in this big movie event and be there without having the same facilities that I have when I'm home? So I think that not a lot of people do, and that I do most of the time, is a social calendar. What is that? A social calendar is a document, like an Excel spreadsheet. I will show you an example, maybe it will be more clear. So this is social calendar we did for the release of a film. It's really basic. You have dates here, and then you have all kinds of social actions. Those can be different depending on the projects. Those were the ones that were identified for that specific project. For example, like pages. If you're a community manager on Facebook, you know that you can like those pages. And you have to do this because every time you will like a page, the person that is liked knows about your brand. Because they said, okay, he liked me, so he will come back, maybe like you. So I was working with the community manager and putting some objectives, some goals to achieve every day. So, for example, here on the 24th of January, he had 4 likes to do during the day. Like posts, 12. Post comments, force himself to post comments, 4. Post content related to the film. Share posts of other people, because I told you it's not only sharing your information, it's also about sharing related information from others. Post related content, post videos, post pictures, post comments on pictures, tag people. You know that Facebook tagging is also important because the person is noticed that you actually put his name out there, so he will come back. And if he comes back, you have to choose the moment for him to come back, because if he comes back and there's not good information or no new information, he will stay 2 seconds. But if he comes back with that system, because he's being tagged, and when he arrives there's a lot of new things, maybe you will stay a little bit longer. So yeah, those are all Facebook actions, but you can do that on Twitter as well. For example, create polls, engage people with questions. You're on Facebook only posting information, and at one point people are not interacting anymore, and you post a question like, what do you think of this film that was screened in Cannes? It's crap, right? And that is provocative, and people say, well, no, you cannot say that, but, and then it starts again. Questions are important. Then we had a game, so we had to have call to actions to that game, meaning posting the high scores of the game, so people say, oh, there's a game, okay, I will check. Also, we had an application, so this is a social calendar. This is something you do with your community manager, and there are always 2 columns, meaning that I was putting the objective here, and at the end of the day, he was putting what he actually did. Here, he had an objective of 12, he did 10, but it's okay, you know, it's not a really mathematic thing. 10 was okay. And then, at the end of the week, but depending on the project, it could be at the end of the month or at the end of every day, I will evaluate and adapt the social calendar. Not every action is done every day, so if I find that there's been a long time without picture, I will add more pictures. If we were putting a lot of pictures out there, but the like count didn't grow so fast, we will slow down on pictures and do something else. And then adapt the social calendar all the time. This is a great tool to keep track. This is a great tool to, because a community manager, you have to pay him. And he has to, you know, prove that he has actually worked. So this is a great tool to evaluate this person. And also, especially if you want to work for someone else, this is also something you come to him and say, okay, this is what we have done. And most of the time, it's a good proof of work. So this is the social calendar. My experience with that tool that I kind of created, I don't know, maybe if someone maybe has used this before, but after a while when you work with community managers, it kind of makes sense that you have to do something like this, because you always bump into the same problems otherwise. You have to monitor him so much that after a while it's like doing the thing yourself. So you want to have this tool really easy access to that kind of information. So analytics are really important. Whenever you do an action, it's always good to monitor and to know after a while if this action was had impact. Of course, you have tools like Google Analytics, and things like that. But there are all kinds of analytics as well. If you post a video on Facebook and you have 70 likes on this video, and then the next day you post another video and you have only 2 likes, and then the next day you post another video and you have 3,000 likes, then you have to take a lesson out of that and say, okay, this video was not working well. But why? Sometimes it's not because the video was not interesting. Sometimes it's because you posted your video at 2 AM. And then the next day, when people wake up and want to see Facebook before going to work, the video was already hidden by a lot of new information. So there are time frames to post specific kind of information. All this can be also added to the social calendar in a note section, so that you will keep track of all that and adapt. So this is what I was telling you before. You always learn, and you learn from analytics, and you learn from your social calendar as well. And of course, you adapt the social calendar to be more effective. I will end by telling you this. It's good to have all those different social medias, but they have to interact. Otherwise, you lose impact. And cross-media is really a trendy term right now, but there are many ways to do cross-media. For example, if you post a picture on Facebook and you simply use your native camera tool, it's good. But if you use Instamatic or another popular effect tool instead, it's even better, because your picture will look different, but also your picture will be also used in their own social networks. So you will touch also the people that are interested in, I don't know, Lomo effect or things like that. So you have to cross always those different medias. The same thing if you upload a video on Facebook using your phone, it's good, but it's better to first post it on YouTube, tag it properly with the good words, and then you put the link on Facebook. So your video will be present on Facebook, will be present. It's kind of normal to think like that, but not for everyone. And the community manager, if you have to choose him, he has to know about those reflexes or learn about them, and also he has to keep up to date with the new tools. What is hot out there? What are the new sensations in terms of social media? For example, if you know Storyfy, Storyfy is a way on Cineuropa, I will show you. We use Storyfy right now for the Canton Festival. It's a way of putting a lot of information. It's a curating software. Is it what you say in English? Curation? Curation. Yes. So on the website we did this Storyfy blog here. And actually what we do is, because we post a lot of information about Cannes, but we also post a lot of information about the market and the different movie industry news that are happening elsewhere in the world. But this is a way to group in a place all the articles we had about Cannes, the tweets, the Facebook posts, the articles. So the person knows when he clicks on that picture that it will only have our content, Cannes-related content. So he can follow our article about the Cannes Film Festival here. And it's content that was already out there. Those are pictures that are on the internet. They are sourced here. Those are articles we put from the website, and it's only drag and drop. There's no typing involved. And Storyfy has its own community. So when you create a new Storyfy, you can use it on your website, but you can also use it on storyfy.com. Meaning that a lot of people on Storyfy saw our new blog, they followed it, and then they came on Cineuropa and they started being our readers. So yeah, there are a lot of cross-media ways to reach your goals. And I think that's it.